What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Healing in Hindsight, your no-BS source for thriving with diabetes. And today's episode, I'm really excited to be talking with a representative from Myabetic. If you don't know what Myabetic is a company that provides bags, accessories, and so many other things for diabetics. More specifically, ladies, how often have you found strips, your glucometer, your Lancet, your CGM, your insulin vials, all just buried in different places and spaces in your bags? Well, Myabetic has solved that problem by creating bags, purses, and even fellas, they've got some bags for you too, to hold all of your diabetes supplies and it still look really nice and fashionable. I'm talking like designer level fashionable. So I'm really excited to get to talk with Maggie, who is their marketing manager, about all the things that is Myabetic, including their Myabetic Diabetes TV app. They have a streaming service, y'all. It's free. So I was super stoked that they agreed to come on and chat and learn more about all the things that they're offering and how they come up with the ideas for their products, to why they expanded into, having a streaming service and even their awards show, all these type of events. It's really exciting, really cool, and I'm excited. I think, how many times can I say excited? I should get a counter going. I'm excited. Anyways, it's a cool damn episode, okay? I hope you enjoy it. Here's my conversation with Maggie from Myabetic. Let's do it.
Perfect.
You're listening to Healing in Hindsight, your no BS source for thriving with diabetes. What's up, guys? I'm Taylor Danielle, and it's my goal to help millennial diabetics like myself live an amazing life without your diagnosis getting in the way. I get it. I was diagnosed back in 2015 with type 2 diabetes, and it was really hard to find people around my age to understand how to travel, socialize, or even have meaningful relationships. But I feel like with a focus on mindset, perspective, and nutrition, together we can take back our health and our lives. Consider this the red table talk, but for diabetics. Minus the entanglements, though. So let's do it. Well, Maggie, I am so excited to have you on today. I've been a huge fan of Myabetic from so many angles, which I know we'll get into, but thank you so much for your time and the energy that you're bringing to the show to talk about Myabetic and all the cool things that you guys do. So welcome.
Thank you so much. I am so excited to be here. We are also huge fans of yours and truly have spent a lot of time in the office talking about your podcast and the people that you interview and the realness that you bring to the conversation about type 1 diabetes, type 2 diabetes. And I specifically really love that you even mention Modi diabetes and other types of diabetes in all your conversations, because we are all a big family who are all, dealing with differences, but also really similar things. And we're just huge fans of yours as well.
Well, thank you. That means a lot. And I'm glad I decided to incorporate it, because I know midway through my second season, I was like, okay, I gotta pivot and I gotta include everybody, because this doesn't feel right just talking about me and my type 2 journey. And I wanted to include that, but it was just like, I'm meeting too many great people, non and diabetic alike, that have so many great perspectives. And I think everybody needs to hear them. And I've been learning, because I had no clue about Modi. I had no clue there was a type 3C. I had no clue about any of that. So it's been really eye-opening to just, dissolve those barriers of types and just like interact and see how things are unique for each person. So I'm glad that it speaks to you guys and everybody in the office, and you'll have to give them a huge wave for me for that. So although I know who you are a little bit, I would love if you could, pump yourself up a little bit and share with everyone who you are, where you're from. And I know you're a diabetic too, so I would love to know your diagnosis story as well.
Sure. So I'm Maggie. I am going to have a new last name soon, I guess. I'm engaged to my partner, Frank. So my last name's really long right now, but it's going to be short soon, which I'm so excited about. I've spent my whole life trying to spell my name to everyone. So I love him, but that's also a big perk of marrying him. I am originally from Arkansas. I grew up in a small town there. And when I turned 20, 4 years ago, aging myself now, I moved to Los Angeles, and I didn't really know anyone, just kind of drove my little 2-seater car across the country and to see what life could be like out here in LA. I am still here and I love it here. I love what I do for work. I love my soon-to-be husband. We have 2 dogs and a cat, aka a zoo, in a very small apartment. But yeah, that's me. I also am a huge Lord of the Rings fan. I also love Darth Vader. There's something to say for the bad guy. Big fan of his.
I'm with you, friend.
But pink is also my favorite color, so I'm kind of all over the spectrum. I was diagnosed with diabetes in 2002 when I was 5 years old. I was actually at Disney World when I was diagnosed, so that is sad.
Not the land of smiles. What? Oh wow.
Yeah, so I was in this happy place where everyone is supposed to be smiling and having a great time, but I wasn't feeling too hot. And I was 5 years old, so my mom was kind of like the one to be like, no, we're going to go to the hospital instead of the park. So yeah, that is kind of my diagnosis. And then I spent my whole childhood, with my mom really taking care of me completely. I didn't really have much to do with my diabetes. My mom was amazing and chose to stay at home in order to really spend like a full-time job taking care of me.
Yeah.
And then I fully rebelled in high school and didn't take care of myself at all. And then in moving across the country, really started to kind of figure my life with diabetes out and start to accept who I was and what I was going through and join the diabetes community, which I had always really pushed away. And I'm definitely not perfect. I still have lots of really terrible times with diabetes and times where I cry and scream and have terrible blood sugar for weeks on end, but I'm definitely a lot more accepting of who I am and my life with diabetes.
Yeah. Man, I really have to say, all of my guests who have been diagnosed at such a young age, I like just all of the glory to you guys because, I was diagnosed at 25. It'll be 6 years this upcoming November. And I cannot imagine, so I'm 31 now, and to think that at such a young age to have to navigate that through all of the different types of growing up and major shout out to your mom as well for really having diabetes with you. I've heard that from a lot of different, caretakers, especially of children, of like, it's the two of you together because you have to get them to a place where you can do it for yourself. And even then, you're still kind of worried because you spend so much time, doing it together, if you will. So every time that I learn of someone who's had such an early diagnosis, like the amount of power that you guys have for being able to live through that and still try to have a sense of normalcy it's super empowering. So it makes me want to push because I'm like, I don't have that deep of a story. I was partying a lot in my mid-20s, so I just needed to be an adult. That's really all I needed to do. Wow, well, thank you so much for sharing that. That's really cool. And did you ever make it back to Disneyland to try to have a part 2 or get that back?
I think I have been like 20 plus times now because I'm like constantly like, I am redeeming this experience over and over again. And I'm a huge Disney fan, and now being in California can go a lot more often. But yes, we actually went back a few weeks after I was diagnosed because my poor mom was like, I can't let this child like have this feeling about Disney. So we ended up going back. I also have a twin sister who does not have diabetes, so she was really experiencing a lot of new scary emotions around her twin sister being sick, and throughout our lives together has experienced that kind of type 3 like feeling of diabetes being a huge part of her life as well.
Yeah.
And having parents who were always really focused on one child. I think she's spoken about that and experienced that as well. So, Disney World now is our place where we go and we feel good and we eat all the things and forget about diabetes for a
Yeah.
second.
Yeah. So I still have yet to make it to Disney anything. It is I'm working on it. A friend of mine, we did spend her 30th birthday almost 2 years ago in LA. So I definitely need to get back to LA. I had a great time, and we went to Universal Studios, and that was like, and it was in November, so it was right around like they were transitioning to holiday time. So I had to hit Harry Potter Land, and they did the whole 15-minute presentation thing. They made it snow anyway, and I literally was like about to bawl like a baby. Like, my childhood is right in front of me. Like, oh my god. Like, I ignored all children in the park. I was like, this is not for you. This is for me. And I was like,
Yep.
moms, dads, no offense, but get your kids out of my way. This is for me. So I can only imagine what Disney is like, and so it is hard pressed on my list to get there at some point, now that things are trying to get to a place of normalcy. But I'm so glad that you got to kind of redeem that experience, and it's become this kind of, it sounds like a tradition almost, to relive and have a good time with that. So that's awesome. So you came from Arkansas and you ended up in LA. How did you connect with Myabetic and become a big part of their team?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I always, carried this little black bag that I had that was tattered and gross, and I'm sure a hospital gave me at some point, or it came with my glucometer, and that was just normal. That was, there was nothing else. I didn't know there was anything else. That was the way that I carried my glucometer. And I think around 2 weeks into dating my now fiance, we were on a walk with his dog, and he was like, "What do you think about like having a cool diabetes case?" And I was like, "No, I'm good with my blood stained one. Like, I don't really think there's anything out there like that. I think I would have to like buy a purse and make it into that." So he started researching and found Myabetic and bought me a case. And I opened it on, I think it was Valentine's Day. And I was like, what? Like, this is the most special thing anyone's ever gotten me. Like,
Yeah.
this makes the thing that I hate dealing with, that I deal with every single day, that feels like really ugly and gross, so beautiful and special and new. And I can take this out at the table and not have people stare at me in the same way, or I can carry this around on my wrist and people think it's a cute wallet and ask me where it's from. So that felt so special to me, and I immediately wanted to reach out to see how I could be a part of something so cool, and found out that they were located in Santa Monica here in LA, and ended up starting to do customer service for them while I was still in school, and everything just clicked. And this week actually is going to be 3 years of being at Myabetic, and it has truly changed my life, because at that point when I started, I still was not accepting my diabetes. I was really going through a time where I just didn't want it to be a part of my life. I was Maggie, and diabetes was something I didn't want to talk about, I didn't want to take care of. And through working at Myabetic and working within the diabetes community, I've made my best friends. Like, almost all of my best friends have diabetes, and I've really been able to kind of learn to love myself with diabetes as a part of who I am, and it's my job that I get to do every day. So I love it.
That's amazing, and congratulations on 3 years with such an awesome company. And also, shout out to your fiance for like, nah, girl, we gonna get you a new bag. Let's iron that out. Because I'm the same way. I will use something to the death of it, and then I'm like, oh, not that I don't like nice things or care about like fashionable statements, but I'm like, I guess I should try and trade up, or get something nicer. And there definitely are some extremely nice products that you guys carry. I'm trying to remember how I stumbled on you guys. Was it the same thing that I was doing? Like, I was looking, I think it was probably early on when I started the show, and I'm like, what products are there for us? And Myabetic was like one of the only things that popped up. And I'm like, wait, we got like designer bags for us? Like what? Like, oh snap. Like I could be cute and like, carry all my stuff. And it's funny because, we went to New Orleans recently for a vacation and I have this cute, little backpack because I knew we were going to be walking everywhere. And I had made sure, because I love pockets in my bags anyways, but I've just naturally, just made a point to like make sure there's a pocket just for all my diabetes stuff, my medication, my glucometer or whatever. And I thought about you guys because I was like, oh, this should have been the time where I bought the dang bag that I've been keeping in my car for like 20 weeks. I should have just bought it, but I ran to a store because it was literally the day before we had to leave, of course, because, last minute packing is just what you have to do in life. And so it's funny now, that's how I judge my bags, like my clutches, whatever. Can I fit the things that I need in it? And then you guys show up and you're like, yes, you can. Here it is. And so that's really cool.
Yes, I think that is what was so special to me was like, wait, there are places for each of my little things, including like a little pouch to put my used needles and test strips in, so they're not floating about, which is what they do. So like that felt so cool to me. And girl, take that out of your cart. We'll send you one. you will have all your pockets ready to go.
It's such a great feeling when you know that the pocket that you're reaching into is got the exact thing versus like, oh snap, it fell out because it tossed around in the car or something like that, and you're just like, okay, I have my strips and I got my now where the hell did my lancet go? Like, God, you're just like, where?
That darn lancet always disappears.
Mm-hmm. Even though you don't change anything, I got 50 needles for days because why?
We had this conversation in the office yesterday because one of my coworkers said he changes his pen needles and his lancet every time. And I was like, what? Why?
Aww, like, that's so
I
cute.
change it when it won't go through my skin anymore.
Right.
Like, when it hurts, I'm like, oh, I should change it.
You just get a little alcohol cotton ball, right? And you just stick it in there for 2 seconds and then you can use it again. I don't understand. Like, if it didn't break, it's not drawing any blood. I could understand if it was like a syringe, but it's not. It's literally to poke me. So,
Yep.
It's cool. I mean, that's why CGMs, right? Like, you're not changing that every 5 seconds, which God bless you.
That is so true.
So,
although last night I got in bed and then realized I needed to change my Dexcom, and again, the fiance was wonderful and went and got it for me, but I was like laying down, like putting it on my arm. I was like, good night, I'm going to bed.
Basically, it's so crazy how easy you learn how to switch things. Like, I've only been using a CGM for almost 6 months now, and I use the Freestyle, and before it was just like, okay, this complicated application thing, or you think it is, but then once you do it, you're like, oh, okay. And so my partner will watch me change, my sensor site sometimes, and he'll hear the pop from like the spring of the sensor, activator or whatever. And he'll look at me like, I'm like, I feel nothing.
You good?
Like, it's good. Like, I got like 15 tattoos, dude. Like, if I can't take this, like, what am I doing, right? And I've worn them everywhere now. I'm like, I think the only place where I felt like a little sting, but it makes sense, like the inside of my arm, because that skin is a little bit thinner. So I was like, that makes sense. But I also have tattoos there. So I was like,
I do, and it's still bad. It's the inside of your arm, man.
It's a weird spot.
People do it.
It's a weird spot. I think I've just learned to just tolerate it. And I don't think I'll be doing anything major. I was actually trying to figure out what my next piece is going to be because I've got a plan. And I was like, yeah, I think we'll leave the inside of the arms and the rib cage. We're gonna leave that for like last if I even go there, because I only have one on my rib cage, and yeah, that's a fun spot. That's a real fun spot.
I have one all the way across my rib cage as well, and it was
an experience.
I think I was sweating so much as I was like holding my abs tight that like I got really low blood sugar while they were doing it because it took a long time too, and so I was like eating Pop-Tarts while they were doing it, like from the gas station down the street.
Don't mind me. I just need a few snacks. It's fine.
Yeah, well, it is a diabetes tattoo. It's the molecular makeup of insulin, and the tattoo artist posted it on his Instagram after that. It was the molecular makeup or whatever of coffee. And I was like, oh
No.
my gosh.
No, sir.
That is not what I got on my body, sir. No, is my life-saving insulin.
Yeah. Yeah, like a
goodbye.
hormone all humans typically are meant to have. And some of us don't sometimes, you know? So, yeah,
Nope.
this is just a different way of adding it in, you know? Man, that's
exactly. But not
Why
coffee,
though?
don't worry. It was not a tattoo about coffee.
Because I'm like, I just can't. I'm just trying to imagine how you would confuse insulin with coffee. I could see penicillin or something, like something that sounds similar, something that's more scientific, but coffee. That's got to be a diehard fan right there. Like you genuinely cannot survive without the smell, taste of coffee. Wow! Shout out to that.
Not me. I prefer insulin.
I think I'd want you to have that too. Wow, that's crazy. That's so crazy. So I want to talk about kind of the product creation and the growth that the company has seen, because, you know, I'm still fairly new to you guys. So I'm curious, like, you guys have been putting out a lot of great stuff. By the way, I think the sports bra, when I scrolled, I think I almost screamed. Because now using a CGM, I get having to hold the reader, you know, well, now it'd be a little bit different because Freestyle finally, the FDA finally approved the second version of the app. Yes. So I'm like waiting for them to upload it on the store. But
yes,
you know,
I bet.
Man, because it would be just, my phone is always with me, but my reader is always screaming at me from the other side of the room saying like, hey, sensor signal loss, because I leave it on the other side of the room. But even still, especially if you use a pump or something like that, like to be able to have a spot that I never even thought was, like, it's genius. Like, it's literally right in the middle of your spine. You're not doing a whole lot, even if you're doing a lot of upper body stuff, unless you're laying down, which I don't do a lot of laying down exercise. I like to get done, get out, right? Yes. It's the perfect place. And so that was one of oh my God, I didn't even think about that. Like, so I would just love to know any insight on, like, how do you guys come up with the ideas for these products? Now, the bags, you know, kind of make sense, especially for women, hand in hand. We love pockets. Like, we want pockets on everything. But where do these crazy innovative ideas of, like, hey, a sports bra to hold this, or the garter pieces? Like, I'm like, you know, that's where I keep my weapon if I gotta, you know, protect myself. But yeah, maybe put your pump there too, or your reader there too. Like, how do you guys come up with these amazing, innovative ideas for new products?
Absolutely. So as far as the bags go, and, you know, really all of our products go, we mostly are just, you know, listening to the diabetes community. And we get a lot of, you know, people saying like, what about this? Like, this would solve a problem for me. Mm-hmm. Or I really love this pattern. What do you think about finding this pattern to put on your bags? And you know, we are definitely always hearing things from our customers in the diabetes community that are causing us to rethink something or think like, whoa, that would be a great idea. But we're also, you know, looking at those problems ourselves and thinking of innovative new ways to solve those problems, because there aren't, like you said earlier, a lot of companies or products out there that are solving those problems specifically for people living with diabetes, but then also making them beautiful and, you know, having a sports bra that looks like a, you know, crazy expensive, nice branded sports bra, or a lace beautiful garter, or a purse that is, you know, gorgeous and people come up to you without knowing it's a diabetes bag to ask where you got it. Like, those are the combos we're always trying to make. How does it help someone? But then also, how is it beautiful and special for people who are living with a often ugly disease every day? So we really kind of take all of that into account. And things like the sports bra and the garter, those are actually collaborations with other brands who create those products. Like the sports bra, I don't believe that the company that sells the sports bra is a diabetes company. They, you know, created that pocket for a phone, but we, you know, take a look at something like that and see a diabetes problem that could be solved.
Yeah.
And when I tested out the product, I put my tubed tandem insulin pump in the pocket, and it was perfect, and I could reach it easily, and I could pull it back out easily, and I can jog with it, and it's safely back there in its little space, like you said, that even laying down was more comfortable than I thought it would be.
Wow.
And I think, that's something we really try to look for, is something we can create if it's not created, or something that can be turned from a regular just sports bra with a pocket into something that specifically helps people living with diabetes.
Wow, that's really cool. And now you have me thinking about like what are things, everyday items that I use or wear
Yeah.
that does that. And it made me think of one. It's one of my favorite denim jackets, and it has inside pockets as well as the outside pockets. And I always put my phone in there. And when I wear it now with my CGM, I always put my reader in there because it's close. And sometimes I might even, if I don't put anything on the outside pocket, or if I'm wearing it on my arm, I can just like slide it across still in the pocket. So that's really cool how you not only take feedback from your users, but you think about how would I use it in day to day as well. And I think that's something that is amazing when you hear companies that use what they're creating. And so I'm a gamer, and I've definitely watched, town halls and stuff like that where they're just not listening at all, and you can tell that their developers have barely touched the game. I'm like, can you actually play the level that you just created to ensure that it works okay? Because it matters to know that the people who are creating things for you are using it and can also spot potential blind spots in how it doesn't work, or see how well it does work. So that's really awesome that you guys think practically as well as involve your consumers along with that. So I'm curious of kind of the growth that you guys have had. Like, what have been the changes that you've seen in the last few years since you've worked there? I mean, we're hitting 3 years this time, so I'm sure you've seen a lot of different changes. I'd love to hear about that.
Yes, I think when I started, we were really focused on products, first of all, which is always going to be the base of who Myabetic is, and what we're trying to do is be that actual physical thing in a person's life that can functionally change the way they live with diabetes, but also make it a lot more beautiful. But we also were focused on events for a long time, and we had things like the Myabetic Diabetes Awards here in LA, but we also were attending events all over the country, JDRF events and otherwise, showing products and speaking on panels and things like that. But we noticed that, that really wasn't reaching a huge amount of the diabetes community, because not everybody wants to go to a diabetes event. I was never a person who wanted to go and be in a room full of people with diabetes, and hear here's a panel on relationships with diabetes, and here's a panel on I would have been like, hell no, I will sit on my couch. No, thank you. And that's okay. We don't all have to be social diabetes butterflies and have a million best friends with diabetes. Everyone's experience is so different. And even working in the Myabetic office, we're all people who have access to a lot of medical devices and supplies and community, but we all still take care of ourselves completely differently. And, we've learned from the community that every single person has a very different journey with diabetes. And that's why we expanded into creating Myabetic Diabetes TV last year, because we wanted to be able to have a community for those people who might want to be on their couch, or might want to, not go to that event, or just who doesn't feel like they have access to the diabetes community other than maybe on social media, where people can see and hear so many different types of advice, or just listen to someone's experience, or something funny. There's a lot that we try to incorporate there, and it's to bring the diabetes community into people's homes, and that was a big focus of last year, and is something we're continuing to grow currently alongside our products.
Yeah, and speaking of Myabetic TV, that was something that was huge to me. Whenever I saw it, I was like, "Wait, they're launching an app," and I'm thinking like, it's like a shopping app. It's where you can go. Okay, if I don't want to use the mobile site, the app is a lot more fluid. I can purchase things like you get it. But when I saw, I was like, no, this is like TV stuff, right? And with a lot of people moving kind of away from the standard cable or satellite type television, like I haven't had cable in God knows how long, like 4 or 5 years now. So streaming apps are usually where you find me. And to see something that is solely surrounding, diabetic lifestyles and journeys was huge for me. I was like, what? And I was so geeked to dive in and to see all the different types of content that was available and to see familiar faces that I've seen, on the online space and the social media, space, if you will, and to get to see them be in their elements and to see, different talk shows and cooking shows and fitness things. And the crafting one is probably my favorite because I'm a nerd. I don't know if you saw in past videos, but like I got a whole Erin Condren style wall in my house because I love paper and pens and planners and notebooks and all the things. I was an art major in school, so I'm the kid that likes to go to Michael's and just be in there for hours for no reason.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that craft show was the
think
best.
I've bought like so many limited edition Erin Condren things, and people are like, "Why? But why?" And I'm like, because it's beautiful and it's rainbow, and I need it.
There's a store 10 minutes from my house, and it is so hard. Sometimes I have to cross the street to be on the opposite side so I'm not tempted, because the outside of the store is gorgeous too. Like a lot of people go there to take their Instagram photos and stuff out there. And one time my sister came to visit from Dallas, and she's like, as we're walking by, I was like, come on, let's just go across the street. I know.
Wait, are you in Austin?
I am in Austin, Texas, yeah.
Oh, I just went to that Erin Condren not long ago.
Yeah, I'm like 10 minutes from that one because that's just, I don't know, I planned it that way. It was actually to be closer to my old job. And then it was like, ooh, the domain's right here. Great. And then they're like, oh, they put an Erin Condren store in here. Oh, this is bad.
Yep, I was at a bachelorette party in Austin, and we went to the domain and took pictures on that wall.
That big old pink wall.
You're not wrong.
Gorgeous wall. Yeah, I think I have a couple old profile pictures that I did in front of that wall. It's perfect. They're smart. They know what they're doing.
And they have rainbow stairs.
It's amazing.
Rainbow stairs.
It's ridiculous. And you go in there and you're like, I know I'm gonna spend too much money. I know I am. So I have to allow myself moments. Sometimes they have a couple things on their site that allows you to like pick up in store. And I'm like, that's probably the best way. Because if I go in there without a plan and I get to, just they're almost worse than Whole Foods. You get the whole check. Like, yep, bye.
Exactly. You also mentioned that you're a gamer. I don't know if you're an Animal Crossing person, but we are big Animal Crossing fans in this house. And my island is a rainbow. Like, looks like a rainbow threw up. But I always say, like, if I lived alone and not with my, 31-year-old fiance, we have Lego things. We have a lot of Lego things. But, like, if I lived alone, it would be a rainbow in here. So my Animal Crossing island is my safe space. I also carry a little backpack on there that's, like, my Myabetic backpack.
Oh, that's adorable. Yeah, I dream all the time of just having a room that's just solely like my gaming, like 90s cartoon nostalgia anime room. Like if you look at my Pinterest, it's nothing but gamer girl rooms and all of like the accessories and things that I'm trying to incorporate in my studio now, but like to still fit the scheme of things because I still have to be an adult. But at the same time, like, so I was like, when we start buying property, like one room needs to be all of the nerdy, geeky things. And nobody can say anything about it. Because
it's your
I want Sailor Moon everywhere. I'm gonna have it, So like, I dream of having those rooms, and so I'm 100% with you. You will always find nerdy stuff somewhere in my house because it is. I'm just a really, really big kid, and I'm not ashamed of that at all.
Nope. I always say that, and I'm I mentioned my fiance is 31, but I say that he's 15, and at heart, at least. And he's very mature and wonderful, but he also we are big nerds too, and I love getting to act like a kid with him. It's the best part of life.
It's truly the best. It's truly the best. Like, me and my partner game all the time, and it's funny because we will, some of our messages like coded through whatever games that we're playing or running together. And then it's like, are you awake? Are you awake? Can we run this mission really quick though? Like, can you get up? Can we? No? Okay. Would you be mad if I ran this without you?
It's instead of like watching through a season of a show, like you're like, can I game without you?
Yeah. Can I get like 3 chapters in, and like I need to run through my inventory real quick. It got a little messy. I need to break down some things. I need to craft some things. I need to, we're those people very much.
Yes,
That's awesome.
I love it.
So speaking of, creating the streaming app and these amazing shows, what type of shows, why did you guys select the type of shows that you have so far? And how did you find the right people to fill those spaces? Because, I don't know much about television, anything. And so I can imagine that it's a huge and long process, especially when you're trying to launch something so new, especially if you're trying to dedicate it to a specific community of people. So I would love to hear how that process went.
Definitely. So we have a pretty wide variety of shows, and that's always growing. Right now, just to name a few, we have workout shows, cooking shows, how-to with diabetes, comedies. You can still watch past events like the Diabetes Art Show, the Diabetes Awards from years past. My personal favorite, at least currently, are our table talks where people with diabetes are just sitting kind of in a little circle, a little huddle, chatting about their own personal experiences with dating with diabetes, pregnancy with diabetes, men with diabetes, women with diabetes, parents. There are, so many of these different people from different walks of life are sitting together, sharing their stories and learning from each other. And I think it's a really special thing to be able to watch from your own house because, I've never been able to sit on my couch and hear about what pregnancy with diabetes might look like for me. And hearing, someone like Michelle Hale share like, yeah, I ate a pint of ice cream and pasta all the time. Like, you don't have to be perfect to be pregnant with diabetes. Like, that was so eye-opening for me because that's always been a fear of mine. Or hearing, Jiggy Yoon share about her dating experience and how, she was always like, hey, Jiggy, I have diabetes. Like, I don't really like describe myself that way, but it's part of our relationship immediately. That was really cool for me to hear. And I think that different parts of each episode mean a lot to different people. And sometimes you see yourself in what someone's saying, and sometimes you see something that you're like, whoa, that's a cool perspective that I've never thought of. And as far as like, the cooking shows, Tiara's show was so much fun to make, but I love the food and like, it's delicious. And I've loved all the food that everyone has created and shared and, workout tips and, how to with diabetes, like flying with diabetes was something that was always scary to me. And being able to watch through those tips of like, oh, I can pre-board if I need to. Mm-hmm. Oh, I can, put this in this bag and put a medical sticker on it and that would help TSA. Like, there's just so many little things that you learn through watching others. And I think it's really cool that it's all condensed into one place. But the comedies are also fantastic. And The Bachelor with Diabetes, like, so funny. I'm a huge Bachelor fan, I will admit it. So it's really fun to see things like that, or a Western that's about like, the bad guy is high and low blood sugar. And these are just, kind of in the same way as our diabetes bags. They're very curated towards people who live with diabetes. And I don't think we get that in life a lot. There's a lot, any person who lives with a disability has a lot of added challenges. It's not always easy. It's not always something that other people are considering when they, plan life with you or for you, or, you walk into a place. That's not always what someone's thinking about. So I think that has been really important for us is making it something that people are excited to see, but also people really see themselves in. And that's a big part of why we, chose who we've chosen so far. And we have more shows coming very soon. But that's a big part of that, is that we want everyone to be able to see themselves in something. We want them to be able to see someone that looks like them, that has a diabetes type that they have, that is going through an experience that they are, but that same person is also learning from someone who isn't like them and getting an experience without having to leave their house.
That's awesome. I'm just going to put my bid. If y'all need like an Issa Rae type, I love like sketch comedy and stuff like that. And my partner will tell you, like, if I'm not watching anime or some type of, I love fantasy shows, like period pieces. I love stuff like that. But I will sit there and just binge stand-up comedy of all forms. And there's such an art to being able to tell jokes and, be able to make people laugh and smile. And that's usually me. I am the person where I used to tell people when they would ask, like, what are your secrets for interviewing back in my, my corporate life? And I'm like, if I can make you laugh once, I'm good. Even if I don't get it, like, my goal is to relax you more than to relax myself. Because if I can make you laugh, then cool, we can vibe. And so it's always cool to be able to know that I can turn on my TV and go to a special place, and it's pretty much Netflix, but knowing that people are going to have the same kind of problems as me, or go through the same type of experiences, or cook the same type of foods. Like when Tiara did the shrimp and grits, I was like, I have never even considered using cauliflower for grits. And, my dad's from Louisiana, so grits is like, it's huge. That's a big part. Staple. And I don't do sugar in my grits, just for the record. I'm on that side of the fence, savory grits all day. But, like to feel like, now I've still eaten it. And like you said, because everybody's unique, and you should be able to allow yourself to indulge a little bit. Like, you got one life to live, and you shouldn't have to live it in fear of the food that you enjoy, right? But to know that there's an alternative, if, sometimes I just have a week where, like, all week, that's all I want for breakfast, right? So it's like, okay, maybe I dial it back by giving it to myself once, and then the rest of the time I do the cauliflower version. I hadn't even thought about it. I remember messaging her like, dude, this is a thing? I didn't even think about it, And so it's so great to just, like you said, see that inclusivity and to see the representation of people of all different ages and spaces, to know that you're not alone, because it's easy to forget sometimes, especially when everything is online. And you're like, well, I'm not touching and connecting with these people all the time. I'm by myself at my house, or with, my people. And no one in my immediate circle outside of my parents are diabetic. So it's like, all right, well, they're older than me. They got kids, and they haven't lived the same experiences that I did when I was diagnosed, right? So it's really cool to know that there's a space for that. And I'm so excited to see what more is coming with it, because sometimes when I just need to, like, especially on bad days, I highly suggest, if you're having a bad diabetes day, head over to Myabetic and watch the comedies, because it definitely makes me feel better, because I'm just like, it could be worse. I'm okay, so
it could be worse, and I can at least laugh about it now.
Yeah.
These people get it.
They get it. And it's one thing to hear, you hear diabetes jokes from people who aren't diabetic, and it's like, it stings a bit, because you don't fully understand what you're saying, right? But when it's from your own people, and it's just like, no, you deeply get it, it makes it that much funnier. And so I'm grateful that you guys ventured out into that and thought about products and services in a different way besides just physical, because like you said, with everybody being at home, there has to be a way to connect. So I think that's awesome. So what about the future of Myabetic? Like, are there new products coming out? Are there any new shows coming? Like, what can we expect from you guys? Because you guys are constantly putting out new stuff. So I feel like there's always something around the corner with y'all.
Yes, there really is. I will say we have the biggest restock we've ever had coming to our website very soon, which is so exciting. We're going to have so many beautiful colors that are bestsellers back on the website, which we cannot wait for. We're launching a lot of new products soon. Nothing that I can share quite yet, but tons of new products in the works, which is super exciting. We have some new bag fabrications coming, so some new patterns coming to bags, which is always super fun. And they are all limited edition, which is always exciting because you want to grab them before they're gone. But as far as shows, we have a couple of those in the works as well. The Myabetic Diabetes Awards will be later this year. So we have a lot happening, and we're really excited to continue sharing those with everyone. We always launch all of our new products and shows through our emails, so you can sign up for those on our website. But we also are always sharing launches on social media on the same day that it launches as well. So be on the lookout. Things are coming.
Yeah, so much good stuff. And, I can fully attest to keeping up with you guys on Instagram. You are always updating something, and you have some of the funniest TikToks, I gotta say. So I'm so glad to see you on those. I'm still trying to figure out the talk tick. I'm trying to work it out. I don't know if it's just my millennial brain. I don't know. You would think going through the Vine area, I would get it, but it's a lot of work.
No, I'm 24, and I still feel like I am too old for this. Am I missing something in my brain because this doesn't click? It doesn't make sense. So we're all figuring.
It's great. I mean, some people are so creative with it. I'm like, how do you to compact it down? Okay. Well, I think I'm gonna just stick to.
I'm working right now on the outfit changes, new bag, and it looks like they just changed right there, Oh, it's so impressive.
The shoe kick every time when they just toss you in there, kick it. I'm like, how many times I'd give up after 3. I'd be like, you know what? You just gonna watch me put on the shoe. That's what you're about to do.
Yep.
I can't. That is
maybe
crazy.
That should be your TikTok channel. You just actually doing the thing that they think you're gonna change, but you're not. You're just putting the shoe on.
I've had a couple of ideas because I have one separate for my personal Instagram, connection stuff. And then I've been thinking about creating one for Healing in Hindsight because, I don't get to express my comedy side a lot. And so that's where I was like, okay, TikTok could be the place for that. And I don't know. I had this idea called Hood Diabetes that popped up in my head. And I'm like, I need to do something with that. And I just feel like it would be hilarious. And so I've been thinking about how to figure that out. It's like, maybe I'll test it on Reels first. I'm like, nah, just do the dang TikTok thing. You'll figure it out.
Go for it, girl.
It'll be fun. So, I want to close things out with, I love always asking my guests for pieces of advice in different variations because, we're all learning differently and we all have different perspectives on things. And I think that that's really important to hear those perspectives. But considering that this season is about, products, services, and nonprofits, I would love, your piece of advice to help others when they're trying to find diabetes products for themselves. What would be, strategy or something that you would advise for especially fashionable options? Because obviously buy y'all stuff. That's probably no brainer. But even still, if you're working on a budget or you're trying to figure out how to get things to work for you, it can be a challenge because if you don't know what's out there, you don't know where to look. So I would love to kind of get your insight on how you can help people figure out how to find things for us.
Definitely. Personally, my number one thing is just go for things that make you feel like you and feel special. And, even if that's something that you feel like you treat yourself with, sometimes I'm like, you know what, I'm going to treat myself with this little diabetes item that helps me instead of buying 2 coffees this week. I sometimes use that as I'm going to express myself with diabetes in this new and beautiful way. And this is the tool that I'm going to use to do it. And honestly, just I think being yourself with it is the best advice I could give, because sometimes when I'm looking for a new purse or a new, sports bra or something like that, I'm like, what would people see and think looks normal and what looks good? And no, at the end of the day, if I want the unicorn bag that we make technically for children, I love that. I love unicorns, or I love the monkey case. Like, and that makes me feel good. So I'm going to carry that, and that's going to make a difference in my day with diabetes. And diabetes is hard. I feel like I'm on a roller coaster constantly. And if I can get off that roller coaster and put on a cute unicorn bag that was technically made for a child, I don't care. It makes me feel good. And I think just choosing things that work for you, but also make you feel good is a great way to look at it. But as far as like choosing a bag that works for you, I do really love that on our website we have a product finder quiz. So you can take a quiz that kind of helps you select something that works for the items that you carry. And it, not only gives you like, oh, well, here's a choice. Like, it gives you anything that those items would fit in. So you can really look through and think like, I don't like that. I love that. Like, here are my options that could work for me. And then I get to choose a fun color. So I think that both of those things would be my best advice for picking something out.
That's awesome. That's so awesome. Yeah, I think it's really important to, I love what you said about like what makes you feel good. Because, as much as we can connect with other people with diabetes and share and be empathetic in those experiences, it's still unique to the individual. And so, like you said, if that unicorn bag makes you feel good, I look at kids stuff all the time. Like, so I guess I'm buying up kids products, whatever. That's okay. You have to really stand out and be yourself. Because it's hard when you have this condition and you want to feel normal and you want to still be who you are, but you kind of got this thing attached to you that you have to work with in order to literally live. So I couldn't have said it better myself. Thank you so much for that piece of advice. So where can people connect with Myabetic and continue to see all the amazing things that you guys are doing and get updates? I want to make sure everybody knows exactly how they can see all these awesome things that you guys are up to.
Yeah, so you can always find us at Myabetic, Myabetic is on all social media platforms. We're on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all the places. Our website is www.myabetic.com. We are always there. We have so many wonderful, beautiful things there to purchase, but we also have amazing stories of people living with diabetes and a blog. And we have a mental health page where people can go and get resources for mental health things there, but also their coloring sheets and, little mental health journal pages, things like that. There's so many different resources as well as fun, little self-care activities and things on our website. And then downloading Myabetic Diabetes TV. You can search Myabetic Diabetes TV on your app store. It is available on all app stores on Roku, Google Play, Amazon Fire, Android, iOS. It is on all of the app stores, and there are so many great shows as well as upcoming live events that will be happening soon.
I can't wait. My heart is full now. It's just great to know that you guys have all of these small things. I love the self-care resources because, anybody who listens to the show knows I'm huge on mental health and spiritual health as well. And I think that those are all very interconnected with how you have your physical health, especially in terms of diabetes. So Maggie, thank you so much. This has been an enjoyable experience. I cannot wait to see what else you guys are doing and what you're up to and these new and exciting products coming out. I'm going to keep my eyes on the limited edition stuff. But you guys already know where to find us every Tuesday and Thursday. You can find myself or me and a friend. We'll catch you guys next time. I just feel so blessed to be able to have conversations with some really cool people. It is really awesome just to know that there are amazing brands out there that are doing things that are changing the world, that are changing the world. And Myabetic is one of those companies that I was so happy to get to partner with and discuss what makes them so great and to know and hopefully make you aware that there are products and TV services just for us. Definitely going to have to go pull that back out of my cart and purchase it because they just have so many amazing things, and it's such a relief to know when I reach into my bag, I know I'm going to the right section. Don't know about you guys, but I have the tendency to forget which pocket I put things in, because I purposely buy bags with multiple pockets to hold all my stuff. And so it's really nice to know that they've done that. It took all the guesswork out of it for me, and to expand into, collaborating with other brands like the sports bra and the garter, things like that. They even have jewelry. Anybody terrible about wearing their medical bracelet? I am so bad. So, it's really cool to just know that there's a company out there that is truly trying to make things by us, for us. So thank you again, Maggie, so much for your time, your energy, and your wisdom. I totally had a great time chatting with you, and I hope you guys enjoyed the conversation that we had. Make sure that you go follow Myabetic at Myabetic literally everywhere, and check out the Myabetic Diabetes TV app. Promise you won't be disappointed. And of course, they've got more coming. So head over to myabetic.com and sign up for their email list. That way you can be the first to know when they've launched everything, because I'm telling you, this is huge, and I see nothing but greatness to come from this company and the things that they're doing to make us feel inclusive, not only in the entertainment space, but in the product space as well. Of course, follow the show. Listen on all of your favorite platforms. If you are enjoying the content, the guests, and everything that's being brought, do me a huge favor. If you don't mind, if you could please leave me a review on Apple Podcasts or at podchaser.com. That's right. If you do not have anything related to Apple, no shade. I don't care, right? But Apple Podcasts or on Podchaser. Podchaser is more of a universally friendly reviewing app for all types of podcasts. I would love if you could let me know and give me some feedback on what you like, what you don't like, or if you just want to leave me a note. Make sure you check a star rating and leave your Instagram handle, so that way I can shout you out and show you some love and appreciation for your review. If you want to keep up with the show, I'm on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, so you can watch this video if you're listening on YouTube. But I'm always available on Instagram at Healing in Hindsight, and on Facebook if you don't really care for Instagram, even though they're owned by the same people. Yeah, guys, I am really, really, really thankful for all of you who have shared, listened, liked, commented on anything and everything in relation to the show. It really means a lot to me to know that you guys are listening and that you guys are interested in continuing this journey with me, not only for my personal stuff, but as well as to learn about all of the great people in the diabetic community that is creating so much for us and sharing so many great stories. So, as always, thank you so much for everything that you guys do. And hey, don't forget, even if it's a bad day, you're still here, okay? You're still here, so don't give up. Don't beat yourself up. Keep going. And if you ever need somebody to talk to, I got your back. Until next time. Until next time. When you try to leave on a cool note? It's okay. I like being a goofball, but until next time, guys. Bye.